Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Kerbal Space Program. So last time, I said that things were going a little bit too easy for us. You know, I felt like those three contracts, they were fine. They weren't that easy, but by the same token, they weren't that difficult. And I want to challenge myself in this series. The thing is that the contracts that we had offered to us weren't that good. I really don't want a lack of good contracts to stand in the way of this series being something that challenges me. So I looked into things, and it turns out that by default, old worlds, because our career save came from 0.24, old career saves default to normal difficulty. So I went in to the persistence file and I changed the difficulty settings. So if I go to start new here, I'll show you guys these difficulty settings. So since we never made a new world in 0.25, I never got a chance to show you guys the difficulty settings. There are 4 options that are just general presets. You can do easy, which, I mean, this is everything. I mean, the facilities don't blow up. You get stock vessels, you have tons of money. I mean, compare that to normal starting. And everything's boosted, and your penalties are reduced, and all that. Normal is the one that we were playing on. Unknowingly, I didn't know this is what we were playing on, because there was no difficulty settings in 0.24. I guess it makes sense that it would default to normal, because it's the normal amount of difficulty. This one is 100% for everything, starting funds is 25,000, and all these things are checked. One thing here, no entry purchase required on research. This is the thing that makes us you have to pay money after you research something. Without this being checked, when you research something, you just have it. That's what those funds there on research items are supposed to go to. It's supposed to go to paying this entry purchase. And I thought that hadn't been included in the game yet, but it turns out that if you just raise the difficulty up to moderate, that gets added. In addition, your fund penalties and reputation penalties for failing contracts go up even more. And your rewards and science and reputation go down just a bit. Another key thing is that missing crew members do not respawn. And that's something that I've actually wanted to do in the game. My plan was just that if one of our Kerbals did die, I would just not use them ever again. But now that you can have these difficulty settings, you can actually set that. So what I did was I changed our persistence file to go from having all these normal settings to having moderate settings. I could have gone to hard, but hard is even harder. I mean, your rewards are almost cut in half, your penalties are doubled, and I don't know that I really want to do... If I want to do some kind of like a hardcore series, I'll just do a hardcore series. I don't want the normal series I do to be super hard. I can't have any fun with it. I have to, you know, do everything by the book and whatnot. I might do a series later, and if I do a series on hard, I'd probably actually even make it even harder. Like, I'm thinking science rewards probably down to like 40% and funds to 40% and all that stuff. Just, you know, make it really difficult. If I'm gonna go hard, I want to make it really hard. Can you even start with... Oh, you could start with nothing. Oh man, you'd have to make all your rockets based on your contract advances. That might be interesting to do, but that'd be really hard. So I changed all of the settings in the persistence file, so now we are playing at moderate difficulty. So, we shall resume. Structural integrity here. This is the world that I tested the moderate settings in to see what the differences were. That's where I found out the purchase thing, and this is also, I just copied the persistence difficulty settings directly from this world into this one. I backed up this world before I did any of that. I'm not totally crazy. I didn't just go messing around with system files and thinking everything will be completely fine, but I just copied directly from the moderate world with moderate difficulty settings into the structural integrity world. Could have also fixed the name while I was there. Didn't do that. That's okay. You know, this is structural integrity. This is technically misspelled. Why not have that be misspelled too? Okay, let's continue. Nothing else here has changed, and so I guess, you know, if you look at this, we completed a good amount of the tech tree so far. We're actually only 3 tiers from the end. We went all the way into here to get the skipper before we even went over to 0.25. So really, only some of this stuff here was acquired in the normal difficulty because there was no difficulty settings. So I think it's okay. I think this will be good. It'll increase the difficulty. It'll make this series a little bit more challenging to me. And I also like the fact that we have cleared out all of our previous contracts. So we're starting this not only in a higher difficulty setting, we are starting fresh. We have no active contracts. Everything is brand new. Let's see what we do have. Our reputation has been going up, so we have a lot of contracts here. Some of these are the same ones as before that are kind of ridiculous or stupid. See here, this is a new one. Plant a flag on the moon in the name of Winter Owl Aircraft Emporium. I wouldn't mind going back to the moon. Actually, alright, I figured it out. I've realized what we're going to be doing for our next mission. I'm going to take this. We are going to plant a flag on the moon. I'm also going to take this. We're going to Minmus. And I'm going to take this. We're going to Ike. Since we're going to Ike, I'll also grab the Duna one. This one never expires, and I believe it also never runs out of time for any of this stuff. Maybe it does. We'll find out. Okay, so these are our active contracts. With this next mission, we will plant a flag on the moon. We will explore all of Minmus. And we will explore all of Ike. The Duna ones, we'll get some science around Duna, but we're not going to be finishing this up. Our one rocket is going to be doing a tour of terrestrial moons. It will go to both of Kerbin's moons, land on each of them, and then go to Ike. Land on that, and return safely. I've never done anything like that before. Let's hope this works. Let's see, are there any other contracts we can get? Most of these are the same ones that we had before. Well, none of these look very interesting except this one. The rewards are good. I mean, it's not like super amazing or anything. It's use the LV-1R, which I believe is the radial one, in orbit around the moon. We put a probe in orbit around Kerbin, and my thought is we could put a probe in orbit around the moon using this. Since we're going to be going and touring all the moons anyway, we could bring a little probe with us, put it in orbit around the moon, and then we'll have a probe orbiting both the moon and Kerbin, and it can use these little engines. I think it's a good idea. We'll go with that. So, our mission, we will be going on a tour of terrestrial moons, planting a flag on Kerbin's moon, exploring Minmus and Ike, and returning safely from the orbit of Duna, all in a single mission. Well, they say go big or go home. For this rocket, we're going to have to go big. Here's the engine we'll need to use for our probe. We have the jet engine now. Next time, I think I'm going to want to do some spaceplane stuff. We don't have any good contracts to do that, but as soon as we get some contracts for spaceplanes, I'm going to be using this. Alright, now we do have docking ports. So what I'm thinking to do for this, because it takes quite a bit of fuel to land and take off. Even though we're just doing moons, that's going to be the most expensive part for fuel. So my thought is, we're going to have a lander, and we're going to have a mothership. The mothership will be multi-stage, have tons of fuel, and we will dock with it, and we'll put fuel back into the lander each time we dock. So the lander is not going to have anything detaching from it. Okay, so we're gonna want one of these. Oh, this is too big. Oh, I know what we can do. Alright, where is it? Where is it? Structural. Why can I never find this stuff? Okay, we'll put this here. This should not be, that should be set to angle snap. Why does that always change? Alright, we'll put this on here, like so. That looks kind of funny. But yes, that is our docking ports. So we're going to need my favorite item, the girders. I never really used these things before this Let's Play series. I don't know why I started using them, but it's a thing now. We definitely want the really efficient LV-909s. Oh, do we not have atomic engines yet? Oh, we don't. Oh boy, well, that'll make our trip to Duna interesting. So instead of just doing the nose cone on here, since I want to try to land this thing all back at Kerbin, I think what I'm going to do is I'll put these little adapters and then put the smaller parachutes on here. Like so. Alright, that looks pretty stable. It's probably not going to be stable at all. Alright. So, there's our struts to hold everything together. Like that. Awesome. This is our lander. Not as crazy looking as the Spider lander, but I think it'll be more functional. Functional form. Oh, we're going to need RCS. Ah, I forgot about that. Because we're going to need a dock. Okay, all this has to be able to do is land and take off from the surface of each world. It doesn't have to go anywhere, because that's what the mothership is going to be for. Oh, for a second I was going to say, wow, we're using half our budget just for this. No. We have 678,000 in funds. We are being such a good space program. Let's hope we don't throw it all away on this mission. Okay, so now we'll decouple, and when we decouple, we will be decoupling from a docking port. Like so. That is acceptable. Oh no, wait, I need this to be a separator. We don't have separators. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. I have just invented the stack separator. And look, I stacked them to make a separator. There we go. We did it. See, this is why I wanted to do career mode, because it makes you have to do things like this. I would never, ever, ever have done this in any of my other playthroughs. Okay, so for this, I do want to bring another Kerbal with us. I want our other Kerbal to command the mothership. I'm thinking I'll use this inline cockpit for that. So our other Kerbal will be here. This is the mothership. The mothership's going to be a little bit bigger than this. Maybe not too much bigger than this, but at least a little bit bigger. I'm thinking like maybe something more like this, you know, maybe a little bit bigger. Okay, I'm starting to realize I do need to bring both the Kerbals back. So actually what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to have a stack decoupler here, and I'll put that on a very special group. Never, ever, ever activate this, ever, ever, ever. Unless in case of emergency only. Actually, can I remove this from staging? No? Darn, I'd like it if there was a way that you could say this thing doesn't have a staging function and then just have an action group for it. So there's no way you can accidentally activate it, but I guess I'll just need to be careful and not hit the stage button to go to this. Alright, so how much fuel do we need? We need a lot of fuel, and that means orange tanks. There it is, our very first orange tank. Need to connect it with struts. Immediately my first thought, that big of a tank, better hook it onto here with struts. So let's take a look at the efficiency ratings here. The Poodle is actually an option. Since this thing is not going to be landing, it'll be slow, but it's very efficient. And considering mainsail is 360 and this is 370, I might actually want to use the Poodle. I think I'm going to do that. Yeah, let's hook the Poodle onto here. So this will be our stage taking us back from Duna. First rocket we use orange tanks, already using a bunch of them. Fantastic! See, so we found out the skipper, it's only a little bit more efficient than the mainsail. Something else to consider here is that the skipper has a better fuel efficiency in atmosphere than the Poodle does. So since this stage might still be pushing us out of the atmosphere, maybe it would be better to grab the skipper. Plus it's better, more lifting power. Because this might, I mean, between this much fuel, this should be enough. Once we get into orbit, if we can get all this fuel into orbit, this will be plenty. We will not have any problem going everywhere with this much fuel. So I'm thinking skipper for these. Lifting 5 orange tanks into orbit is a pretty tall order. When you don't have the bigger rockets yet. All I've got from the Kerbodyne stuff is these, which I probably am going to be using the big fuel booster for the first time in this. Yeah, it's actually really cheap. Really? Only 1,800? How cheap is that compared to... Oh, wow, these... I didn't realize these fuel boosters were so inexpensive. Okay, I'm definitely going to be using these. I found out how my lift stage is going to go. Shall establish asparagus staging. We choose to use asparagus staging to go to the moon in this mission and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Right now, from this, we need lift stages. It might look a little strange, but I think I'm going to do it like this, so I'm actually not going to have a thing here. Oh, no, I am. You guys think I forgot. You were thinking he forgot. He said that he was going to do a little probe. He was going to go orbit the moon. Why is he not going to do that anymore? I didn't forget. And a thermometer, because that's all we ever use on these probes. But he will be a very, very good science temperature probe. He will be the best of the few and the proud. The temperature probes. Alright, hang on, little buddy. Sure, that's attached. Yep, you know, this, you can never tell, I mean, this lighting in here, man. They need to improve the lighting in the VAB, because it looks like that's not attached at all, but I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. There we go. That's right. Oh, wow. Too bad I can't, like, put a strut there. Like, put struts between these struts to have, like, some kind of a crazy strut web. Right, and then on the radial decouplers will go the solid fuel boosters. Alright, so my thought with these separatrons is that they will push it away from the vessel. And then, by the same token, since these are on the side, it'll also cause it to spin, and the way it spins should push it outward, right? This will then shove it this way, which will then cause that to push it away. I think that's right. I think this will push it away, plus the ejection force of this pushing it in the same direction. I think the net result will be that way. It will go, this will go that way. Let's hope that's the actual thing that it does. Alright, we're almost done. That means I need to find one more spot to put struts, and I believe I've just found it. Let's put struts between this, this, and this. Okay, there she is, our wonderful rocket. So this is our, I believe, 11th rocket. Multi-moon mission. This rocket is going places. Hopefully, those places are moons. And hopefully, it comes back. Alright, let's save. Now, staging. Okay, I believe I have staging set up correctly. And finally, considering how dangerous this whole thing is, I'm going to set up an abort, just in case. The abort is going to be this decouples. And these engines all activate. So that's the abort sequence. This decouples, these fire, go. Run away, fly, fly away, far away and never return. Okay, I think that's everything. I don't have solar panels to deploy. I sometimes put this on an action group. I think I'll do that. That'll be action group 7? Sure, this will be action group 7. So this is toggle the shield. Well, this is the most expensive rocket we've ever made, I think. I'm sure. This is the most expensive rocket we've ever made. Because we haven't had enough money to make anything like this before. It's also the longest I've ever taken on a rocket in this series, but that makes sense, because this thing is enormous. Alright, let's set up our crew. Jebediah, no. Alright, for our crew, let's go to the astronaut complex. Oh, it looks like we have some new people. That's nice. Maybe the rescue of Theoden has given them confidence that they should join our space program. I like this one, Ribrim. And he has no courage, and he's not very stupid. So we'll have Ribrim. We'll go. Okay, Ribrim is our rookie. Rookie Ribrim will be going. He will be in the lander. And for our command module here, commanding the mothership, we will have one of our experienced pilots, Danzon. Danzon Kerman will be in charge. He's going to be directing Ribrim, the newbie. Ribrim, who has no courage and he's not very stupid, will be commanded by Danzon, who has moderate courage and is not very stupid either. Quick double check staging. Gotta make sure I don't kill any Kerbals, especially because they don't come back now. I really don't want to lose Danzon. I like him a lot. Let's launch.